just finished a quick call with a plasterer. It's still a fairly baby site, a beginner SEO campaign. When I say beginner, we're at about 2,000 leads, still on this, I think, second or third year of SEO. So for a startup, sole trader, sole operator brand, it's still just a baby. Now, we are targeting wealthy areas of the city, and so naturally there's a Google ad running in that space. But the questions were, hey, I'm starting to get leads, and quite a lot of leads, but they're in suburbs that are quite far. How do we shift those leads to suburbs that are more wealthy? In particular, there was a question about Sorrento and Rye, which are more like holiday destinations in Victoria. And so there's a couple of ways that I answer this question. So first of all, where someone looking for services may not be in that particular area. So for example, if we want to pick up jobs in Sorrento or Rye or Mornington Peninsula, chances are the searcher, someone that can afford homes there as a holiday home, is probably in Melbourne CBD. They might be in the medical profession, they might be a financial advisor, so they're likely to be in one of the taller buildings of the CBD or South Yarra, or in dense areas where a lot of the business owners will be. Now, I'm not saying that we don't run the ads or we don't target Sorrento, of course we do, but a lot of the time where the service may not be where the searcher is coming from, which was really interesting for him to hear this. Then, because a lot of my websites actually contain what I call geo pages. A geo page is a page targeting a specific suburb. So we're starting to pick up a lot of leads from suburbs that are quite large, that have a less dense percentage of those types of businesses. For example, a suburb like Narre Warren or Berwick or Cranbourne have a big population, quite a large surface area, but low amount of, let's say, plastering companies in that area. So my geo pages, my suburb pages, do quite well with leads there. But then if we want to get leads in somewhere like Camberwell, Malvern, Toorak, South Yarra, it's not as easy. Those geo pages are definitely showing up there somewhere. A lot of the time it's the first page of Google, sometimes it's in the middle, sometimes at the bottom. The reason a lot of the time it's not at the top is because we don't actually have a physical location in those suburbs. And the more dense those areas are, especially with businesses, it could be just a rented office space, they've got a Google listing there. So by default, whoever's closest to that listing, whoever searches for plastering services near that listing, will see this business closer. So Google Maps, otherwise known as local SEO, whoever puts the pin down in that suburb has a much higher chance to rank in that suburb. And why would Google show a plasterer that is much, much further out, let's say in Frankston, if someone's searching from Toorak, when there are already other plasterers in Toorak, especially ones with more than 10 Google reviews? So the power of local SEO is a must. So registering Google listings is a must. Getting reviews is a must. Bonus points if you register multiple Google listings. In the past, I would ask the clients if they had friends and family, which would put a Google listing on. We still do that. A Google listing that does not show an address is nowhere near as powerful as one that does show an address, because an address to Google is, okay, this is definitely a business. Now, these days, you not only need to show an address, but you need to be prepared for a video verification where you run around the street like an idiot, where you're running and showing the sign that shows the street, that you're showing the signage of the business, that you're showing equipment. So basically proving to Google that you are a legitimate business in this area. Now, 15 years ago, a long time ago, I used to Photoshop this stuff. It was so easy. Google would just allow us to register listings. I had thousands of listings for my rank and rent website, so mechanics and plasterers and you name a key term, and I used to have a listing. Slowly but surely, they got suspended. The way I created them, a lot of the time I was extremely time poor, so I paid people overseas to do them. So there were footprints of accounts from India, from Pakistan, from the Philippines, from Eastern Europe. I don't do that anymore. The only listings I register are completely what I call white hat, which is I register it myself with a real Gmail, with a client's G Suite account. They're the only things that I do, because all of those tactics that I used to use, I still fiddle with them for my own personal sites as a test and learn. I enjoy it. Sometimes they pop, sometimes they get leads, but I never offer them at a cost, because at any stage, it's not a real brand, we can lose those leads. So it's just an added bonus to a lot of my client accounts. So in a nutshell, if I zoom back out, come back to the conversation, if you want to get leads in a specific suburb, you should attempt to register a Google business there. At the very least, build a page on your website that says we offer plastering services in Brighton, right? So have the term Brighton on multiple times on that page. That at least puts you into the running for Google to consider you for those terms. Try not to build pages for keywords that don't get any search volume. So for example, Egyptian snow shovel seller Brighton. No one searches for Egyptian snow shovels in Brighton, let alone in Australia. As far as I know, I should probably check out that key term. So don't build a page, because what's going to happen is when Google sees a whole bunch of useless pages not really delivering any value, they're not going to show that page on the World Wide Web. In other words, they're going to de-index it. You don't want to give Google that power. You want to de-index it before they do, or just don't build it. In other words, have a look at the pages that you might have on the website. Have a look at the low performing pages that get zero traffic or no traffic in the last 6 months. Do something with them, rewrite them, redirect them, remove them, 301 them, combine them, you name it. So I went off on a bit of a tangent there. Yeah, targeting suburbs, and of course Google Ads. We are definitely hitting the wealthy suburbs in Google Ads. When a client wants to pick up work in Sorrento, in this case, if it's a chicken shop or a jeweler in Sorrento or a pizza shop in Sorrento, yes, we run the ads, local ads in Sorrento. But for home renovation, a lot of the time the homeowner that owns a holiday home in Sorrento lives somewhere metropolitan areas of Melbourne. Of course, not always, and we will still run the ad on Sorrento, but just the reality check is we should be targeting. Don't just run the ads only in Sorrento, expecting to pick up leads in Sorrento. It doesn't work that way. Hope that makes sense, and hope that was helpful.